Okay, so we've made this image, which is pretty complicated, probably a bit more complicated than yours will look. And let's say just by chance we're not satisfied with all of it. I don't know, that might occur to both of us at this point. You have, all this is on one layer. But you have this history. We'll go through one more time. I mean, you can go backwards and we can get rid of those ducks and those maple leaves and a few other things. Going back all the way, actually, to the very first mark that I made. So there may be a place in there that you have that you want to remedy only back to that place. But it may be that you like some of those marks. Let's just pretend here that that dot, this dot here right in the middle, is troublesome to me, but I'm actually maybe somewhat happy with the brush strokes. So if I were to go back in time, I'm going to, through history, I can't just adapt that circle, so let's talk about the eraser tool. Easy enough. Over here on the sidebar of tools, you have the eraser. It has a couple of embedded options there. We're only going to be dealing with the top one, actually, the eraser tool, not the other ones, so we're going to stick with that. But the eraser tool itself does have some options up here in its menu bar. Most importantly, you're going to find the mode. It's going to give you a brush, a pencil, and a block. Let's start with the block, only because I guess when we sort of visually think eraser, this is probably the closest to what you would be thinking. It is a squared off block, kind of akin to what you would see on a chalkboard. Let's zoom into this mark here and let's just pretend I wanted to edit it only after this other brush stroke. So you have the eraser and you just hold and click and scrub. So it is as you can see, absolutely a square. There's not a ton of modification to that that's available. Yeah, so we would just have to sort of do it like this. I'm going to show you one other little trick, which is you have this selection tool up here called the lasso, lasso, and we can click on that, and sometimes you can circle a mark. This may be even easier than the eraser, which is just sort of select a mark by encircling it with the lasso. So let me do that one more time. I'll pretend like I missed part of it. So if you're sort of sloppy with your lasso, it has to connect, right? It has to go back and form itself into a circle. Okay, so I connected that there into the circle, and then I'm going to just sort of crop or clip that out. So we can go into Edit Cut, which maybe you know now to be the Command and X key, and that takes that out. So if you have a larger area, that might be useful. But again, going back to that eraser tool, you can kind of take that out. So what other things can we do with this eraser tool? Some of the other features are a little bit more subtle than the block. You have the pencil tool, and it's going to have the options that you saw with the pencil as a drawing implement. So you can erase with a maple leaf and other options in there if that occurs to you or necessary to you. But these are some of the recent ones that you've used as a brush tool. But for the most part, let's just say, you're sort of coming in, you're going to pick just a regular, let's not pick that one, I'll just pick a regular sort of size, and we can come in, and I'll just say, you can just erase. I'll make something very clumsy just to show you, and then you could use your bracket keys, make that smaller, erase again. Not for this project potentially, but for a future project, sometimes it can be nice to play with the opacity, and then it almost becomes a positive mark making tool, and you see how it overlaps there, which can sort of have some potential beauty about it right there. So you've erased with varying levels of opacity. We can take that down even further, be super subtle. We can adjust the hardness of that, of course, or pick a tool that has a pencil eraser that has a softer edge. So kind of nice things. And then you have the brush tool, which is also, I think, something that I use with a very low opacity and a low hardness. So a 0% hardness and a low opacity, and you can get some kind of intriguing marks that way. But for this, we are, of course, mostly trying to get rid of that circle, which I spoke of a while ago. So let's get our brush just up to being big again, and we're just going to zap it, right? We're just going to take that circle right out. Maybe we're miffed about this circle in here. We're going to zoom in, make our eraser tool, right? It's the eraser tool, but labeled or set up as a brush. We can take this in and just zap that sucker out. Yeah. So between things like the block, the brush, and then maybe the selection up here of the lasso, and then encircling something, and then just cutting that out, you can make some corrective marks. All right, I'm going to say one other thing here. I'm going to go all the way back to maybe just this very beginning by using my history. So sometimes you want to make a straight line, and if we're in the pencil tool over here, and we're going to pick ourselves something not too big, you want to try your best to draw a straight line. And so you're going to start from here, and you're going to go over there. Oh, that was terrible. I can maybe do a little bit better, but apparently not so much. So sometimes the absolute straightness can be sort of tough. Photoshop gives you a nice option for that. It involves holding down the Shift key while you are beginning and ending the line you want to draw. So let's say we want to try to draw this line again with a slightly, straighter line. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to make the starting point. I'm going to hold down my Shift key, and I'm going to come down or go over to the right, and I'm going to hold that down, and Photoshop has drawn me a straight line just like that. So again, I'm going to click, I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and then I'm going to say where I want that line to be. And you can continue with this process, just holding down the Shift key and making clicks, and then it does the connective mark. I'm not actually stroking it. One thing, again, if you don't get the rhythm down right of the Shift, hold, click, sometimes you'll actually find something. Let's see if I can replicate it. It always happens at the worst moments. I'm going to click, I'm going to hold down the Shift key, I'm going to click again to get my straight line. And then let's say I want to make a parallel line to this. I'm going to come down here in the hopes of making a parallel line. And I'm going to click there. Oops, it just followed me. So let's undo that. The key is that after you've done the click, Shift, you have to let go of that Shift and then do another click, Shift, and you'll get those parallel lines that maybe you wanted. So another little feature for you. Hopefully this will give you the basics for how to try to replicate your pen drawing that's your favorite. When you're finally done with this project, you're going to image save. Probably you'd want to duplicate that file so you can keep it at a high res, and you're going to say OK, and then you're going to reduce the file dimensions on this so that you get it to whatever I said on the handout. I think it's probably 2 megs, but we better check that. So let's reduce some of these options until we get it at something like let's say 6.5. Okay, at 6.5 you're at a 2 meg file, 150 pixels an inch. That's adequate, certainly adequate. What I'm looking for mostly here is the image size. The total image size has been reduced from 27 megs, which will take almost forever for you to upload into Moodle, down to just 2 megs. So you're going to say OK on that. And then you can file save as. Remember, you're going to want to save that with your name and the name of the project, and as a JPEG for the upload. That way I'll be able to find out which image is yours. So thank you so much. Hope this is helpful. Good luck.